As the final buzzer sounded on the Pistons' 2023 season, two die-hard fans, Mickey and Harry, each passed out and witnessed a vision. They were visited by Detroit's very own mascot, Hooper, the stallion ablaze, who told them the only way the Pistons would ever win a championship again was if these two men started a podcast. To be clear, they said, do we really have to do this? I mean, aren't there enough Pistons podcasts already? It seems like this might be overkill. But Hooper dunked on them, right in their face, and said, your team needs you. He presented them with a prophecy. Now it is their duty to help Detroit rise again and become champions. The Order of the Blazing Horse. Welcome back to yet another episode of The Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of your co-hosts, one of your co-profs, touched by a horse, not in a creepy way, must always iterate, not in a creepy way. Harry Morrow's out in the Metro Detroit area. Giant, is that a word? I was at a show the other day, and they called out someone's name, and their name was Gina, but the person pronounced it Gina. Which is so
classic.
Ridiculous. Joined, I was trying to say, as always, by my co-prof, my co-host with the most, all the way on the West Coast, cool as space ghost and spread thin as butter on your breakfast toast. Give it up for
Mickey Jacobs. What an intro. Happy to be joining you. Just, our team's out of the playoffs, but we're still here. There's still stuff to talk about. And if there's not, we're gonna make stuff up. We're gonna keep it going. And we'd love for y'all to stay with us. Like, subscribe, ring that little bell for notifications. Because the Order don't sleep. We're gonna keep at it. We're gonna try and figure out what the Pistons can do to get better. Harry, how are you doing in the aftermath, in the wake of everything that's happened?
I'm doing all right. The moment of was devastating, like truly devastating, because I was watching it as I watch almost every game in bed next to my wife, trying not to make a sound because she's already asleep, and I'm watching it on my phone. But I am sweating through the sheets, just having a rough go with things. And then I was just in shock, just absolutely in shock for the last little bit of it. And it was a tough pill to swallow. I had been planning on doing a slept on for Motor City Hoops, but I told Bryce afterward, I was like, I might need a week to do one because I'm feeling so much right now. And I wasn't anticipating that because since I turned, that's a Michigan thing. Michigan people say churn instead of turned a lot. But since I churned like 22 and stopped punching walls for macho reasons, I punched the wall after the Tigers lost their last World Series. And I was like, I don't think I should ever do this again. But since that moment, it's just been like, I enjoy sports. Like this whole season's been so entertaining. It's been such a thrill. And like, I try not to get overly emotionally invested. I know on this podcast, I'm very amped up, always juiced, all the pulp. You know that. Mad
Heavy
juice,
pulp.
mad homer. But in that moment, I felt this sadness about the team that I haven't felt about any sport or any kind of thing in a long time. And I was kind of shocked by that. And I think that goes to show how important this season was, how fun it was, and just like what a special moment this whole season was. So Mickey, how was your experience for the dismissal of the Detroit Pistons?
I mean, it was pretty heartbreaking, but in a way, like I was kind of braced for a heartbreaking loss. I went to a bar and watched with a buddy of mine who's a Timberwolves fan, and we were sitting at the corner of this bar, which isn't exactly a sports bar, but there were a couple other people hanging out, and I was wearing Pistons shit, and they could see how animated I was. And Lakers fans with no dog left in the fight, they were already eliminated by that point, which is hilarious and just
they just went back
delicious.
to being Los Angeles people.
Yeah, they're like, oh, what else are we gonna do? But every time they've lost in the playoffs, and even during the regular season, they're so close.
Yes,
like that's the real blade twister for me. Is like you're right there, but I think like the time and space you're talking about is like you need to get perspective on this because nobody thought we were going to be here, including us
Mhm.
back at the beginning of the season,
We
like
didn't
not
believe
in this
Hooper.
way.
We didn't believe him.
Certainly not in the sixth seed. And like, I think this is something people do like with themselves. I do it is like, sometimes you accomplish a lifestyle milestone and you're like, okay, but like I should be doing more. Like, I got it. There's always got to be better. There's always got to be higher. It's like the goalpost keeps moving. I am so grateful for what this season has meant. And I was listening to Locked On Pistons, and Koo was just talking about like this team is special, and like whatever happens next season, like gonna miss this squad. And I do think he's right in that like we're gonna look back at this as like truly not just because of the tripling the win total thing, but just like this has been a season to remember on a lot of levels.
So fun. Like for us, we started this podcast. That's great. Like our relationship's built. Two, our relationship with you, the listeners, the people we're interacting with, that have been participating with us on Blue Sky, that have been participating in the chat. Like, I hope you've had fun because you're helping us have a ton of fun, more than just watching the game, more than just wins and losses, more than just like, oh my God, I can't believe Ivy sunk that shot. Oh my God, I can't believe Cade took it to the next level. We're having these moments together. Like the community is so different than what it was last season and the season before that. Like to get out of this dismal area of fandom and head hanging and woe is me level, dreaming about signing third string two-way players to be starters on this team, to having this crazy level of success. And like you said, exciting games from jump, like so many set, and to watch the growth of all the players on this team. And the third thing I want to say is like this season brought us so many guests that are not saying, well, it's got to be rough for the Pistons, right? The last 28. We had guests who have so much love and respect for this team who are not fans of the team, who are just saying like, it's been awesome watching the Pistons. So being able to share that nationwide, worldwide, even if you're a big fan of Pistons Jack and like all his international community, which he does a great job of including, it's been in a very difficult year of life in general, not on a personal level, but on a worldwide, national level. The Pistons have been one of the best feel-good stories. And, Rocky didn't win. It's one of his, right? Sorry to take a shot at Philadelphia there. But, I mean,
They can take it.
We took Tobias from Philadelphia. We can take Rocky from him, too, and use it for our advantage.
Yoink.
Boom.
Yeah.
That Joe Louis fist downtown Detroit. But it's been special, and I'm happy we got to share it together, and I'm happy we got to share it with you guys out there as well. I'm looking forward to bringing even more Pistons content and Pistons joy to the future, and we need the team for that, and we thank Cooper for that. Praise horse. Did you have any? Okay, so we went over essentially the sentiments of this season. Did you have any feelings about like how the postseason went, how the Pistons performed overall, what you expected? We don't have to get into like the missed calls or anything like that.
I this was a team like all throughout the regular season that's been learning to win, and that learning curve has been they've grown so fast. And again, like in terms of moving the goalpost, like I thought they could beat New York. Those games were super close. There were a lot of contentious calls and things like that. But at the end of the day, they hadn't been there before. The core of this team had not been there before. And it was eye-opening for me, too, just the difference from the regular season to the postseason and like what that means for my team. And it was stark. It's a big difference. And as not to get ahead of ourselves, but as Trajan Langdon spoke about in his presser, you don't know how to train for something that you've never experienced. And now they've experienced it. And like, the heartbreaking endings, like the Malik Beasley turnover, stuff like that, like this is stuff that's plagued the team all season long. Like as brutal as it is in the moment, it's not shocking. Turnovers, inability to make shots, youth, like it's hard to break through in the postseason when those things, and the fact that they were still as close as they were with the turnovers they had, with the percentages they had, it's pretty amazing and encouraging for the future. So I'm taking all this. You got to take your licks. You're talking about Rocky, the bad boys. Isaiah got knocked out of the playoffs with a bad turnover. There was the phantom Bill Laimbeer foul on Kareem. Like, this stuff's gonna be formative for the team. And like, again, as I put in the DFG, here's a take. Had they broken through to the Celtics, maybe the offseason wouldn't have been as motivated as they are now with the taste of that disgusting L in their mouth. Um, I think if they got to the second round, everyone would be like, "Oh, whatever. Like, everything's fine. We're gravy. Like, yeah, we lost to the Celtics, but whatever. Or we beat the Celtics.
Or beat
But
the Celtics based on how stuff's looking right now, right?
but anyway, that's sort of where I'm at with it. I didn't mean to ramble. How are you doing?
First of all, I don't think you rambled. I encourage you to speak a lot. I find that I often do the majority of rambling on this show, and I appreciate you bringing your thoughts to the table because you're a smart guy and you have wonderful takes. And the way I felt about, I agree 100% with everything that you said, and not to toot our own horn, but when the Pistons were like in the hunt for like, are they going to get the play-in? But there was like some talk of them, like early talk. People were like, they're not really going to get to the 6th seed, and we were like, not only do I think they could, but I think it's invaluable. We touched on how important seeing what it would be like to play in a series against a singular team at those high stakes is, and I think you saw just how much they learned from that while being in it. And like you said, like you alluded to, Trajan brought up with Cade specifically, you have to get into playoff shape, like elite shape, not for getting into the playoffs, but for getting through the playoffs. I believe he said round 2 at least, but like just knowing what it takes. And I mean, Cade was gassed at the end of that game 6, right? There's no doubt about it. You could tell his 3-ball was short. Like you could tell his legs weren't all there. You got to get in better shape. And he played more. Props to him. Incredible season from Cade Cunningham. Could not have imagined a better season from Cade Cunningham. So my takeaways from the playoffs are, and I really don't like this term because I think it's overused, and I have this picture of Austin Reeves in my mind saying I'm him, and I'm gonna be straight up. I don't like Austin Reeves as a player. He's like for real not my style. I think the hype around Austin Reeves is a little bit overblown. Plus, I hate that he dissed Detroit like that on top of it. So, like, boo you, bro. But Cade Cunningham is him. Like, he just is at this moment. The difference in the way Trajan talked about we have to get our guys in shape and what that means for like Cade and how it's perceived for Cade, and how JJ Redick said that we have guys that were in shape, we have guys that were not in shape, and how people are taking that on Luka, right? And those are players that get compared kind of on a regular basis at this point. And plenty of people say like, Luka's far superior and stuff. I think the connotation in that same statement about both players is different. And I kind of think that Cade is a little bit on the rise in people's perspective, and Luka's a little bit on the decline in people's perspective. Not to say that
it's crazy for a 26-year-old, by the way.
Exactly, it is crazy, but it's partially because Luka's accomplished so much more, and because people already think of that of him. So I'm not saying that Cade is better, but I'm going to go back and use our slappy take from earlier. I would rather build a team around Cade Cunningham at this team. I think he's proved to be a leader. After game 1, when things weren't going great, he's like, we know what we need to do, and they changed it, and like that's awesome. You really saw the importance of veteran play in this. Tobias Harris was an absolute beast in this playoffs. Like the turnaround I have for Tobias is so nuts, and I'm so happy he's on this team. And I don't even want him to be a trade contract piece. The growth from the players, like Dern was awesome, especially at the end of the playoffs. He was awesome. Asar showed what he can do when put in the right spot. He had some awesome performances. And one of the things we said going into this playoffs were that usually who wins these series are the teams that are the healthiest, and Detroit simply wasn't the healthiest. They didn't have Isaiah Stewart, didn't have Jaden Ivey, and that proved to be incredibly costly. And as a fan, being upset about the way it ended, I get, but like you said, every game was entertaining. This was the best series in the first round of the playoffs, and there were a lot of good series, but this was hands down the best one. It's unfortunate that things didn't go Detroit's way. It's unfortunate that I guess You know what? I'll say this. I do think it's fortunate that Brunson was able to change the narrative that was surrounding him by being so clutch in that last game. Not that he wasn't already thought of as a clutch player, but that it shifted from Brunson the flopper to like, holy shit, that was an incredibly clutch performance. So props to him for that. Yeah, a little props to him for like toning down the flopping as well. It was a little bit of a seesaw. So
Even though there were 2 challenges in that last game that
there,
were like kind of justified, but no,
sure,
in general,
they for sure were, and one got overturned, right?
Yep.
The other, what are you going to do? I wouldn't like. I think we mentioned it on Blue Sky, but that's like JB having 19 at the blackjack table and saying hit me, like just throwing that out there. It was.
And by the way, like he's continued to be clutch against the Celtics, so like this isn't just he hit some big shots here and there. Like he's real.
He's real, and that team is real. Like OG's a dude, Cat's a dude. Bridges is performing better in the playoffs than he was all regular season. Like. And Josh Hart is awesome. Like he's a fun player to watch. He has limitations, sure, but like that team's good.
Hustler,
right?
Such a. I mean, Pistons would love a Josh Hart on this.
They have one. They have Star Thompson, like who's got more athletic tools. Like he doesn't have as good a jump shot, but he's going to be better.
The feel's going to come too.
Right. So like I'm watching this team who hasn't been there before, who is injured, and who is getting the brunt end of bad calls, and they're right there the entire time. They looked like the better team. They just weren't the finishing team in that series. And now the team that they looked better than for the majority of that series is taking it to the reigning champions. So like we brought up, I think before, Keith Smith saying like, I don't think Boston's going to face the defense and stuff. He's facing one in New York, and Detroit's is better than New York's is. So I think Detroit's style of play is the future of basketball, and they have this young core with veterans who not only want to come back, but showed up big. Dennis Schroeder showed up big in those games. Somebody showed up big. People are going to talk trash about Beasley, and like now there's a lot of thought about should we re-sign him? He had bad playoffs. He had not that bad of playoffs. It wasn't great. He had a streaky playoffs. His first game and his last game were great. He had the turnover. Big fucking deal. Like he what 6 of 11 in that game, 7-11 from 3 in that game. You got to take that. That's important. And I know there's talk about like you can replace him. You can't replace 300 shooting. You couldn't replace 300 shooting if you did it through every year in history. Like historic season for that man. Historic vibes from that man. These guys all bought in. Like I get the desire to like want to upgrade. And I've talked off air with people about like the upgrading situation. And my question is, who, where, what is it worth it? Like, who is worth it to upgrade for in free agency? I have no idea. People saying Naz Reid. I ain't dropping the bank on Naz Reid. Sorry. Like, I just don't think he's that much.
By the way, T-Wolves aren't getting rid of Naz Reid.
No, they're not. And
why would they?
They're going to drop more money on him. But on top of that, even if you were to offer Naz the money, now you're losing vets, and then you're put into the situation where you have to pay people like Phoenix is doing, and that's worked out so great for Phoenix. And it's not like Minnesota's shooting great from 3, even with Naz Reid. They're shooting like ass from 3 right now.
Record terrible from 3 in the postseason. And by the way, like that's taking into account like the time James Harden missed like 33s in a row or something crazy like that. Like that's. You got to work hard to shoot historic level low from deep.
So where I'm at with this whole playoff experience is I'm happy we got there. I'm happy they gave us the most entertaining series in the first round. I'm sorry it went heartbreaking like this. I love your point about this is going to light a fire under their ass for next year. And I'm just happy that none of the young guys crumbled because they didn't. They all showed growth. They all showed improvement. It's gonna be freaking awesome. And to go back to the Boston New York series, that stat that got shared on Blue Sky about OG Anunoby and Jason Tatum, that in 39 possessions for Jason Tatum, he mustered 1 shot against OG and it was a miss. That wasn't a Cade problem.
No, I mean, but OG was a problem, and OG is a problem.
He's
and
a fucking
like credit
dude.
OG, credit OG. And by the way, like again, not to get ahead of ourselves, but Depoy. Dyson Daniels was not a problem for Cade.
He was a most improved. I think Depoy.
Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Depoy was Evan Mobley.
That's
And,
right.
even that, whatever. The OG said something fascinating about, he's like,
Yeah.
when people switch off you and stuff, that's like, that's not a trackable stat. And
When
so
you pick up your dribble.
right. And so like a lot of defensive stats you can't follow. So voters just give to a big guy. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that
credit
happens.
Evan Mobley, but we watched OG in the postseason just be a real demon, as they say.
Yeah. I do want to say this because like I just compared Asar to Josh Hart, which I believe I've heard other people do. I don't actually feel like he's that. If Asar can get like a halfway decent shot, he has the potential to be better than OG. Like truly, because OG's handle's still a little bit sloppy, but this postseason and the way people are talking about like at the end of this last season when Brunson went down, his offense really stepped up. If Asars can get to like a 20-point per game, be kind of a threat as a shooter level, he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA.
I mean, that'd be good. So, what do you think Asar would have to shoot from three to be like 30?
34. Like if you get to 34,
34.
if you get to 34, you're one of the best players in the league. If he gets to 30, then he's an absolutely enormous piece
Yeah.
from deep.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 30 on like 4 or 5 shots a game from 3.
Yeah. He's crazy. The Thompson twins are crazy, and when you consider the fact that he hasn't even had a real off season, it's beyond exciting.
Yeah.
And no, I'm really excited.
When I look back at that draft, and there was Brandon Miller who went ahead of him, and there was Scoot Henderson who went ahead of him, and then like Amen and Asar. I know people say don't compare them because they're different players. They're fucking similar enough. Like I'm sorry, but they really are. Their games are not that different. Of course, you can find nuances and differences from them, but their elite skill set is the same. It's athleticism, it's defense, it's slamming the ball. Like
the way they move is just crazy.
It's crazy, and it's basketball IQ too. Like those 3 things they have beyond their years, beyond most players' years, and it's so like when I look back at that draft and how we ended up 5th, I'm so happy that this is who we got, and I want to double down on this too. Not that there's any way of proving it. I'm so confident that this is the pick that Trajan Langdon would have made as well. And that is reiterated. Now let's transition into the press conference. The first player he brought up as far as the youth goes, I believe, was Asar. He's like, you saw Asar, how incredible and sensational he was. And he didn't have an offseason. He didn't have the training to go through. He's coming off of blood clots. And I thought that was awesome. And the part that he led off with, I think that was amazing with the players, was this is their 3rd coach in 3 years. This is going to be the first time they have the same coach in back-to-back years. How important do you think that is for this team, Mickey?
I think it's huge. And just like to the point about Asar, like the fact that the main talking point among fans is that the second-year player who didn't even have a proper offseason and missed a ton of time with blood clots didn't get enough minutes in that last game is like so encouraging when you think about it. Like what, say what you will about JB and the decision, but like we want more of that kid who had a really fucked up year, who's like clearly got a lot more in the tank. But to your, I think that the 3rd coach in 3 years, the buy-in thing, super encouraging. And what I'm really excited about too is the continuity, because they haven't had any continuity and they still delivered this unbelievable performance of a regular season and postseason. I'm curious. I almost asked you when you were talking about how you think the Pistons style of basketball is the future. I'm curious. I want you to elaborate on that a little bit. But like, I think so much is rooted in chemistry. And I mean, obviously vibes have been crucial with that. And like year 2 of this squad or most of this squad, it's going to be crazy. Like I'm excited for the muscle memory and the mind melding to really like reach a new level. And of course, they're going to improve as individuals. So I really appreciate that he's not like, okay, we got some national attention. Let's chuck some of these young pieces together with a bunch of picks and get KD or Zion or something, or someone old or someone injury prone or someone who's going to maybe sell more tickets or draw more eyeballs, but not the best long-term solution. So I really liked what he had to say about continuity.
Yes. He brought up continuity in multiple facets. One, with the coaching. Two, like you said, with like the long-term success. He said he wanted sustainable long-term success and that they want to be patient. That yeah, they'll listen to calls, but they're not exactly like looking for it. And when he was asked about like, are you going to go out and like try to get an all-star, like a second scorer for Cade? I believe he said, in all due respect to that question, that's not a question you would have asked me last year. So let's like think about that for where we're at as a team this year. He's like, that conversation would be different if the guys on our team were like 30, 31, 34, but our guys are 22.
It's a way bigger window.
19, 21, 20. We haven't even seen what they can be, right? And he wants continuity from the team. And what I was talking about, their style of basketball being the future, what I mean by that is it's not the just we have one guy who's scoring all the points, or we're just going to be chucking up threes, doing that nonstop. The emphasis on defense, playing physical, the emphasis on having a smart ball handler, getting the ball to a lot of people, being able to put up points in a variety of ways, and having a big man who isn't a floor spacer, but a floor seer. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I kind of think the most important development with the Pistons over the second half of the season, and this is specific to JD's growth, is JD's passing. His passing in the short roll has not only freed up Cade Cunningham from getting trapped at half court, or like the center court line with a double team, to outlet it to JD to then see the floor, but it's also allowed Asar Thompson to play on the floor with him. While Asar can't shoot from three, okay, that's a spacing problem. Duren can find Asar, and they have great chemistry. I brought this up all season long, but like the lobs that Cade throws to Duren are tough. And like, sure, it looks easy, but they're finishing it. You watch any other Pistons throw lobs to any other Pistons, not great.
Yeah.
Like
not as easy as they make it look.
People think passing is not a difficult skill set. It is incredibly difficult. Think about passing. Here's the way I need you to think about passing. If you're just like a casual observer, you are trying to score the ball into a moving basket that has its own brain, that you have to assume you know where it's going and hit them in the right spot. That's what a pass is. Like,
and it's also being defended.
Right. It's also being defended. So
yeah.
It is a very tough thing to do. And JD has not only excelled at that, but like kind of blown my mind in that regard. So seeing the continuity of these young guys playing together, getting that team chemistry, all that stuff is great. Staying together. And that's one of the big takeaways I had from this press conference is I don't think he's gonna make a big move at all. I think from what I gather, he said he loved everybody on the team. He wants to get everybody back, but he kept using this term, it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
So what I get out of that is he's going to assume some people want more money than they deem their worth on this team. And I think that the money that Trajan is going to offer to these players is going to be reasonable because he understands the value of them on this team, but also you have to be realistic about what sort of money you're going to get. And maybe some other team has the ability to throw like a ton of money at you. Can't fault you for saying no to that.
Nope. He comes off as such a pragmatist and but also like compassionate. Like he talked about creating an environment that the guys want to be in and how multiple players have said to him, like, this is by far the best like group I've played with. This is like the most fun I've had coming to the building. Beasley said that in his post-game presser. And I think he's just like such a good, at least from what I've been able to watch from pressers and interviews and things like that, like such a good combination of, like a businessman who's like, you know what, like, obviously we're going to listen to deals if like something comes our way, but no, we're in no rush. We want long-term sustained success. Like you don't want a fluky championship like the Raptors got with Kawhi, only for him to like leave right away. And like, obviously two to tango, you can't control that, but like he wants like as close to a dynasty as he can get, and he's not going to get like butthurt or upset if like someone wants to leave for more money. It's like he's got contingency plans, or at least that's how it seems.
Yeah, and he was asked if like a stretch 4 or stretch 5 was like the most important asset to get for this team, and he's like, I'm not gonna like say what the plan is, but also like when it comes down to what the most important need is, it's not just what we need, but it's like what's available, right? Like, so you're just trying to force this thing and then you're reaching because you think that's what your need is. That's not smart basketball. And I love that take from him because
Yeah,
that's the sign of a man, like you said, who has contingency plans. That's the sign of a man who has a plan for success, not a strict blueprint for what has to happen in order for it to be a success. Like allowing yourself multiple avenues, doing the best with what's available, playing the field, reading the field, seeing what's going on while trying to grow, like you said, a dynasty. The goal can't be just like one championship and done. Otherwise, they would already have turned in their chips to try to go after somebody big, right? That's
right.
what you go all in. It seems like they want to build a contender for the long run. And also, it seems like the general vibe is that Detroit is much closer to being a contender than I ever could have imagined, even 2 years ago.
Totally. No, I really enjoyed the presser. Like I like what he chose to reveal and what he chose to keep to the vest. You know, just for the sake of convo, are there any players that you would be willing to like lump one of Ivy, a pick, and like a vet together? Like, is there a guy that you would be like, you know what, like I don't want to rush either, but like maybe someone who's not super old or someone who kind of fits the Pistons vibe? And like, by the way, no is an acceptable answer. I'll take no. I'm just curious if there is like a pipe dreamy name that you're like, maybe this is sort of not mortgaging the future, but also like amping us up now. Would this person become available?
I don't know right now. That's
Fair.
I'd have to like go through and like think about it. I think the tough part would be it would have to be someone who can play defense and can shoot the three ball. Uh, and the other thing I'll say about it is I think it would have to be including it. It'd have to be for Ivy instead of Duran. And I know this sounds like a recency bias thing. And Ivy was popping off at the beginning of the season, and Duran was popping off at the end of the season. But I was thinking about this today while I was mowing the lawn. I had a lot of time to think about it because I had a lot of
Big
lawn
lawn
to mow.
Big ass lawn.
Two batteries died, and I didn't finish mowing it. If that gives you an idea of my lawn. This being said, I do have a hand push, not self-propelled electric lawn mower, and way more lawn than that thing can bite off. I care about the environment, people, and I maintain it. But what I was thinking about today, when it comes to extension talk, this is another thing Trajan brought up was like extensions. We'll see. I don't know if players are going to get extended. I don't think Ivy's going to get extended in the offseason. That's kind of between the lines what I was reading from it. I think Duran might. And I would be more into trading Ivy than Duran because when I look at the big situation, everyone's like, we get a stretch big. Who's out there? There's like two, right? Like,
yeah.
People want Miles Turner. He ain't leaving Indiana.
No.
They're not letting him leave. It just straight up isn't happening. And then what? What's your plan for Duran? I can't think of somebody else you can get. Cat just signed with New York, right? Brook Lopez is 37 years old or whatever. You ain't replacing him. And when I look at the big situation, the pairing of Duran and Stu works. Like that 1-2 punch in the big realm works really well. Replacing Ivy like a scorer, that's a little bit easier to do, right? And not that he doesn't have tools. Like his speed's incredible, and like he's young and he cares hard. I don't really want to trade him either. That's why I'm at kind of the no here. And I'll get more into Ivy in a little bit. So I'm just going to say no. But if it were to happen, I would prefer it to be Ivy than Duran to go. What's your answer?
I'm trying to think if I would trade Ivy for him because I agree with you about Ivy Duran. And like as much as I would love to see Cade with a stretch big, I was listening to Sam and Bryce talk about how they like the Asar Duran thing is a concern, like, or at least like down the line it could be. They talked about them sort of occupying similar spaces, not positionally, but just cutting into each other's zones.
Yep.
I do think communication will improve. I do think ball skills and shooting will improve.
Mm-hmm.
But my like not the sexiest answer in the world answer, but like my like who would I love to see? To me, it's either like a Derek White or a Trey Murphy.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And Trey Murphy is injury prone, and Derek White's no longer a spring chicken.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that I'm like, yes, let's do it, pull the trigger, and no one's offering it. But those are the kind of names that I think of. Like even a Drew Holiday also getting up there. Like, don't know. I'm not saying I would do that, but like I do think there are like answers, and I agree with you about the requisites. Like I would want someone who could like reliably score, ideally from three. Like Derek White's just cash, and I think he's one of the best like unsung players on the Celtics. Like I would be, I know Brown is really good, but I just think Derek White like does so much more, and like they gets leaned on so much more for whenever like Tatum's hurt or Brown's hurt or Pritchard's out. Like he's just like always in the mix, and it's the two-way factor. And I just love Trey Murphy, but
yeah, like you're absolutely right about both those players. They'd be so great.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to cut bait on Ivy. I'm just throwing out some hypotheticals. Trajan was talking about hypothetical. He was answering questions, being like, okay, but this is hypothetical, right? Like when it was like, would we have to trade or use free agency? And he said probably trade for the purposes of Detroit as a free agency destination and cap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, I mean, I think that makes sense. Also, when you look at the free agency class, it's like, okay, sure.
I haven't looked at it. Or is it uninspiring?
Yeah, I mean, it always is, right? Like, what's the last like major free agent sign where you're like, wow, I can't believe this person's available. Where are they going to go? It's always like, okay, this person's going to be a sign and trade. This person's going back to their team, or this person's getting traded before they even hit free agency.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing I want to bring up with the getting a player to replace that Ivy situation where somebody who can shoot the three and play defense, score points. Ivy already showed promise in those very fields this half a season, right? Like he was averaging what, like 17.9 points per game, shooting 41% from three. Defense was improved.
It's really impressive.
I wanted to bring this up because we're talking about coaches a little bit earlier.
Hard worker too.
We're talking about Ivy. Yes, absolutely. Hard worker, very professional. Langdon said
wants to be here.
Yes, exactly. Langdon said that. Like I was impressed with his shooting. I was impressed with his hard work and his professionalism. That's great. All that's great stuff. I want to give a shout out to based Pistons fan on Blue Screen. We were talking a little bit because Jerry Blue Screen. I call it Blue Screen. Can you tell I work in post?
But clock out, guy.
Sorry. We were talking on about Jerry Stackhouse because Jerry Stackhouse is being honored by Warriors fans because he's one of their assistant coaches and he was being credited with like their defensive standout performance in the previous matchup that they had against, I think, both Houston and then in this first game against Minnesota. And I love Stackhouse. Stackhouse was one of the names I threw out for who I wanted to get as coach for this team. I heard him on All the Smoke, and I like the way he turned Vanderbilt around as a coach a little bit. And I think he's a smart guy, and him having success is awesome. So on Blue Sky, base Pistons fans said, base Pistons, him said in reference to the idea of Stackhouse as a coach and potentially being our coach, like still imagine how he would help Ivy be a decent defender. One of my major concerns next year is Ivy having less leash due to defense, especially if Dennis is retained. And to that, I understand completely because JD holds people.
I'm sorry, is he talking about firing JB Bickerstaff?
No. He was talking about like if Jerry Stackhouse had been an assistant coach on our team. Or if he had been,
in addition to, not instead of,
right? Or if he had been hired instead, and he thought that like Stackhouse would be great at developing Ivy as a defensive player. I totally understand that, and I agree that the leash will be tighter as it was. Like, I mean, and not that it could be any tighter than it was with Monty, because like he had on the leash in the doghouse. Like,
get Megan Gailey in here,
yeah, fight for your boy. And shout out Megan Gailey filming a special. So fucking funny. And
can't wait.
shout out to her Pacers who are playing some sensational, exciting basketball.
Everything's coming up gaily.
Everything's coming up gaily. And shout out to CJ for making a fake Tyrese Halliburton ad that for Puma. It's so fucking funny. If you haven't
Check
seen
it out.
check out Follow Through. So shout out them. Megan Gailey, CJ Toledano, Follow Through Studios. Great stuff. But in regards to Ivy and his defensive leash, that I don't mind it because that's what we're calling for with Duren. And I think one of the things that JB has shown is that this defense is getting better and that it did take some time. Unfortunately, the click in defense really happened right when Ivy went down, and he was already showing signs of improvement. He was getting better. And when he went down, Duren was no good at that point. His defense was bad. And then Duren's defense finally got good. And part of that is because I think the communication on this team is so much better. And I think just being around, hearing the communication, living out the communication, give JB a chance to show he can shape Ivy into a good defender. I guarantee he's got more defensively out of Tobias Harris and out of Jalen Duren. Shit, out of Cade Cunningham.
THJ.
THJ. Like everybody. So, and Ivy has the tools. He's fast. He's strong. He's not that short. He looks short, but he's not that short. He's already getting recovery blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
I am super excited to see what Ivy is going to become as far as a defensive player goes for the rest of the season. So while I do agree that I think Stackhouse also could have done a great job with him, and I am slightly worried about the leash, I also base Pistons. I want to believe that JB will be able to get that out of Ivy, and everything that he showed me with the other players has led me to believe that's going to happen.
Well, let me ask you something too, because I agree, but did Ivy and Asar ever start together?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think know. If they did, I'm willing to say not that much. And I bring it up because I think Duren's defense really improved with the addition of Asar.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to believe that would affect Ivy too. Just because like so many shots by the time they get to Duren, they're altered by Asar in some way. And I don't know. I don't know if that applies exactly in the same way to the backcourt, but I do think that would be a factor of like, if your three is Asar instead of THJ.
Right.
If in theory that's how that would go.
Which I think we're all assuming is the case at this point, right? Like you sacrifice a little bit of shooting, but like you're getting Ivy back. So like,
yeah.
Oh, well. And did he say something about Shooter in here as well? No. Outside of if Dennis is retained, it sounds like the Pistons, I mean, in the presser, Langdon brought up Beasley and Schroeder and Lindy Waters, honestly, on top of it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lindy come back, to be quite frank, which I'm kind of fine with because I think he played all right in like his very limited minutes. So like, fine, come on back, Lindy. You're legit. What
if it was Lindy or a Sasser?
Well, Sasser's on the rookie deal still.
Okay.
So he's coming back.
Okay.
Unless
he's moved.
So we'll see. We'll see what a move takes.
My point was not that like I feel like I saw very little Lindy. Just a little splash of Waters, just a little
splash of Waters. It was very little for sure. But we also saw very little Bobby Clinton and
none.
And also in the press conference, Trajan mentioned that 37 isn't the same this year as it was in years past. Like they got Bobby Clinton at 37. They're not going to be able to get a player of that caliber at 37.
That was really interesting.
It says to be a couple things. One, they believe in Bobby Clinton, right? Like you're just saying Bobby Clinton's a good player who we believe in. And that makes me feel good because Bobby Clinton can be a stretch 4, which is a player that we're looking for, right? And he's got some passing chops, which is awesome. So let's see a full year of Bobby. Let's see that development. Let's see him get bigger. Secondly, he mentioned that if they see a player they like and they have a plan, they'll have to move up to make it happen. And they have so many second-round picks, like
15.
Yeah, that's too many. That's too many to hold in your purse.
What are we doing? What are we doing with all those?
So maybe they do move up to the first round. Maybe they do get somebody. And if they do, there's a guy that I really like, Rasheer Fleming, who's a forward, and he can shoot the 3. He can play D. He does a lot of good stuff. I like Meek Clifford a lot. I think he's like a pretty good wing forward as well. That's what I would want to move up for. I hope if they move up for a player, it's for like a wing forward because I don't know what else they would move up to get. Maybe development big, I suppose, but like Why at this point? Who knows? How do you feel about the trade up in the draft stuff rather?
I'm very ignorant about it, but I would like to add more stretch fours, even though we're not revealing our plans and what we're doing. But who wouldn't love a stretch four? I also wouldn't mind a project stretch five. I don't know if Paul Reed's going to be back. He was great for us in his minutes, especially in the postseason. I think he's got really good hands. I think he's got a really good nose for the ball. But and by the way, like, credit to him for being willing to take a pay cut to stay. Like, that says a ton and should not go overlooked. But I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I like Duren and Stu, especially, with Duren getting into early foul trouble sometimes. Like, who's coming off the bench? The Rock. Like, we're steady. But I really do like the idea of, like, growing stretch five talent, especially one with, like, rim protection abilities. I don't know if there's a guy like that. Maybe you can tell me.
Where are they?
I mean,
that's my
maybe
thing.
maybe in the second round somewhere, end of the first round somewhere.
They're not there.
Not.
Like, that's my thing with the.
Well, can't we just build one in 2K?
Yeah.
Fuck. The kids make it look so easy.
They're just so rare. These players don't exist. Like,
why can't I just have Norm Powell's release with Rudy Gobert's rim protection, and he's 7'5"?
I mean, when you look at it, Miles Turner is lacking in the rebound department, but he can defend pretty well, and he's a stretch five. The Cat is a great rebounder, and he's like the most prolific stretch five of all time.
Not a great defender.
His defense is suspect. Like,
Kristaps does it all, but he's always hurt.
Right, and those guys are making so much money because there aren't that many of them, and they're missing a thing. So I think this fantasy about replacing Duren with, like, a stretch five who can play defense, it's not going to happen because that player doesn't exist. And if he does, he's going to limit what you can do with the rest of your team. So, like, look for a player who can give you a lot of good stuff and make the most of it. Duren already is a lob threat, not a defensive anchor, but a serviceable defender. He's a sensational rebounder, and now he's a passer. So you have a big man who's only 21, who's making all broadcasters drool, just like gleeking out. That's an awesome big to have. So I think
I hear you.
I would love to find a developmental stretch five. That's cool. It's a nice tool to have, but also you could just ask Isaiah Stewart to start shooting more threes. That could be the thing. And there's your stretch five solved. Like, we know he can do it. It's just a question of, is that in the game?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, forget my my 2K fantasies aside, my dark, twisted 2K fantasies. But you gotta defer to Kate on this one.
Your front court.
What do you say?
I said, who reupholstered your front court? That's a deep cut for my beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
But Cade has called Duren his favorite big in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He has undeniable chemistry with him. We saw it all this season. We saw it in the Team USA stuff. I love what Duren said to Cade about how, like, they don't have to be perfect. You throw it up and I'll go get it. And we've seen some crazy ones. I think, like, the second or third most oops in the league.
I think it was
this year was those two.
I think the most oops was them, and Duren had the second most dunks in the NBA. So, like,
I mean, you gotta go with Deuce on this one. Whatever.
What are we talking about here? It was a fucking highlight show. Like,
yeah.
Could there have been more entertaining basketball? You're telling me you want to see a big man shoot threes instead of slam these insane lobs down? Just from a viewer's perspective,
it's crazy.
This is fucking
best play in basketball for me. Mm-hmm. Like, even as a kid, before I was, like, into basketball, I was like, oh, alley-oops are cool. Oh, yeah. Like, you don't have to know ball to know that him throw to him into basket good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fucking awesome.
Let me make it easy for you. One of the most popular basketball games of all time was NBA Jam. It wasn't NBA from behind the long line.
Just ask the Celtics how that's going.
Exactly, right? So, like, yes, I get it. I understand it. But I'm not blind to what we have either. And I'm really grown to appreciate what JD has. And he's 21 fucking years old. That's one thing that I think Trajan really could not get over was like, these are children. Like, they're so young and they're showing growth. Like, we have one. We have one of the guys. Like, he's getting everybody the ball. He's putting it all in their best sets. All they have to do is get better at the stuff they're doing. They do not have to be better playmakers. They do not have to be the star of the show. They just need to be like, what am I good at? How do I get to be the best at my position doing that sort of thing? I'm all for it. Keep these kids together, right?
Although, if Fred Vinson can Vincentify every player on the roster, because that's how it works with shooting coaches, is he just ups their attributes, right? I've never played 2K, by the way, but I'm pretty sure I get it. I'm pretty sure I understand how this
X
works.
is the Vincent button on the PlayStation.
X. Yeah.
Well, you've convinced me, so I'm down with it. Let's with it. I'm all for it, but like, just in general, I think Trajan could not be more fortunate. He did a great job as is. I trust him with whatever he does in the process, and I don't expect to see that many different faces on this team next year. I expect it to be largely similar to what we've gotten already.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think anyone who's been watching is probably erring on the side of run it back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, let's see what they can do. As you said, they're all like the core is in their early 20s. They're still in their wall punching phase.
Yeah, right. Don't let them watch the Tigers. They're playing too good right now.
Yeah. It's more about Red Wings than it is anything. But whatever. I think they're emotionally mature young men for their age.
Let me say this. I didn't have a Tobias Harris to tell me, hey, don't do that. You're right.
Eat some salad.
You're right. I didn't have Tobias Harris to tell me stop eating ramen and Uncrustables every day.
That doesn't help.
No. So, yeah, I can't wait to see where this team is going to be. And, like, I already believe in this team so much. And if they do trade away, like, young core players, it'll be a crime. It'll be an absolute crime. And
glad you brought that up.
Thank you. Why are you so happy I brought this up?
Well, everybody talks about Detroit, and they talk about how there's so much crime in Detroit, right? Like, there's all this propaganda about how, don't go there, it's not safe. I don't agree with that, but I did notice some crime, not in Detroit, but to Detroit. A robbery of sorts. The Pistons robbery. So the Pistons came short in awards. They came short in the first round, and they came short in awards. Let's run through it. You corrected me. Cade lost most improved player to Dyson Daniels.
He did.
Whatever. However you feel about that award.
He still lost.
But he led his team to the playoffs. Everybody said this team goes as far as Cade takes them. Took him pretty damn far.
Yeah. Cade was a finalist. He finished, I think, second in that regard. Malik Beasley lost the 6th Man of the Year award after setting a record for threes for the franchise, second most in the season, one of 5 players in history to shoot that many, one of 2 players to shoot that many at that rate, at that percentage, to Peyton Pritchard.
Who, by the way, he punked him in their last meeting.
20-point difference in that game. On top of that, he was the second leading scorer on the Pistons, the whole team. Second leading scorer of the whole team. And I've got that shimmy. I got Celtics fans telling me that, no, you obviously don't watch Peyton Pritchard and understand that his plus minus matters so much, that his one more rebound a game matters so much. Get the fuck out of here.
Give me a break.
Absolutely insane stuff.
Heist. Robbed it. I think that's one of the ones I'm most upset about. Because,
I'm not that mad about it. Huh? So clearly I'm not that upset about it.
You're not that upset about it? I think that's one of the worst ones, just because of how much he means to this team.
It's fucking egregious. It's what it is. That award is proof that people were not watching the Pistons and that people just are so blinded by the green monster.
We needed any more proof of that.
I know, right? No, I mean, another one I'm mad about is JB lost Coach of the Year.
That's the worst one.
It was the closest one. He lost to Kenny Atkinson. And why? Tripled the win total with the same fucking team. Like, it's so crazy how much better they are and how much better defensively they are without adding a single defensive positive player to this fucking roster.
Yeah. No, it's by the way, how many did Cavs end with more wins than OKC?
No.
So what are we doing? Like, JB put them there. It's not even like they had the most wins in the league. Like, if you're gonna do that, like, why wouldn't OKC's coach get it?
I'm right there with you. Crazy. OKC, the best plus minus in single season history, I think. So yeah,
I'm so sick of that stat. I'm so
plus minus.
Yeah, like, give me a break. Like, how many coaches have tripled a team's win total? I don't know.
It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. And
you know what? Sorry. Go ahead.
Here's my other thing about it. JB helped to build that fucking Cavs team up to get to the place that Atkins can take it there. He showed that he's done it twice in a row. That's a fucking coach of the year.
Yeah. It's crazy. And like, the league hates JB Biggerstaff. And I will say, I do understand why.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. He gets a little hot. But he's a young coach. He's also
Mike Breen.
Yeah, that Mike Breen quote is never seen anyone complain more than JP. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I see a lot of coaches complain.
Constantly talking. Mm-hmm. I personally fucking love it.
You know the players.
Talk your shit, coach.
You know the
talk
players.
Your shit. Get teed up. Let the boys know you care. Mm-hmm. That's that. It means something to me. I know it means something to them. I'm not naming names, but especially after last season.
Yes, especially.
But I'm not naming names, and there's no way you could know what I'm.
I would never. We're
not trying to take shots.
Yeah, I'd never take all your clothes off. Like I'd never give you get you into the full Monty in that sort of situation.
Yeah, great. You know, and that's just like a fun musical. You know, yeah.
But I will say about JB. You won the team over. They know you have your back. You can change a little next season too, if that's the case. But I still think you're an incredible coach. I'm super happy you're my coach.
I don't think he's going to change, dude.
I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see. He's a young guy. He is a young coach. And I think this season required a lot of, I have to fight for my fucking team here, but we'll see. All right. And then also in that same vein, Trajan Langdon did not win Executive of the Year for turning around the franchise worst, this NBA record worst team last year for losing streak without making any huge moves, making the right moves, for getting more draft picks, for getting Dennis Schroeder for taking on 2 draft picks. Come on.
Crazy.
Come on.
And, you know, some people would argue that Troy Weaver set the table, which... Sure, you know, if we're going to argue that JB was responsible for a lot of the Cavs' success, you could argue that Troy Weaver drafted most of the guys except for Ron Holland. But these little moves around the margins and these little like cost-saving measures, and just bringing in JB, bringing in the assistant coaches, like, I don't know. I think he did a lot right. Who won? The Thunder?
Yeah, the Thunder guy. And
Thunder,
the Cavs got given second.
I mean, they like are swimming in draft picks like Scrooge McDuck in coins. So I guess
it's hard to complain about that. Plus they got Caruso and Hardenstein, which are both like fucking awesome moves.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm mad for my team. I'm mad.
Me too. I'm worked up. I'm hot.
How are we going to lose all these? I'm hot juiced right now. You ever had hot juice? It's not good juice.
It's not good juice. It's you don't want it hot.
Mm-mm. These weren't even the only awards that they lost.
They lost more that didn't get nearly as much press. I'm pretty incensed. Whether you think he was executive of the year or not, you can't deny that Trajan Langdon, he's one handsome motherfucker.
He really is.
But he lost out on most handsome to Michael B. Jordan. And look, Michael B. Jordan's the kind of guy where, like, if you saw him in real life, like, you'd have to like avert your gaze. Like, this is not a person whose eye contact you could make. So, you know, that's a tough L, but we're going to take it into next season. I think Trajan's going to hit the gym, work on those pecs a little bit. Not that they're not great already, but, like, you know, there's always room for growth. He knows better than anybody.
Trajan shows up to his next presser in this track jacket,
shirtless.
And he's like still cool and like touching. He's like, look, I'm not going to tell you what we're doing here. And everyone's like, what the fuck? fuck, man. They're like watching it, holding a cigarette and watching Trajan Langdon. Not
Yeah.
to, not to make that man a piece of meat or anything.
No,
But yeah,
no.
very, very frustrating that he didn't win the sexiest man. Like, it's absolutely insane. Most
Yeah,
handsome.
robbed.
Also, I thought this was going to be a shoo-in, especially from the playoffs, but like Tobias Harris should have been the most hated person by Philadelphia fans in the history of the team. He showed up for the Pistons in a way that must have had them banging their head against the Liberty Bell, wishing he was on the team still, furious that he didn't do that shit for him last year. Do you know who the award went to? It went to PG-13.
Ooh,
Yeah.
not feeling good about that trade now, are they?
That's pretty bad, and good on the
Yikes.
Clippers, who did much better by getting rid of him. Paul George, the podcast star, apparently not
Podcast P.
the 4-star. It's, you know what's so crazy about this trophy? They don't even hand you the trophy. They throw a battery trophy at you. It's pretty
You just
wild.
have to dodge it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of happy Tobias didn't get that one.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's very fair.
It's not just the vets and the execs that lost out. Ron Holland, the Rook, was also robbed, not necessarily on Rookie of the Year, but he lost deepest voice to the rock giant from Neverending Story. Can you believe that?
I mean, it's been a long time since I heard that voice. And Ron's is so deep. It's so deep. His voice so deep, put my butt to sleep. Let's get some of that voice in here. I don't think I have the audio on.
It's deep, though.
It is deep. We find it. Where are you? Oh, I didn't show it. That's why.
There we go.
Let me get a boom. All right. Monitor, check.
Here we go.
Audio, check. That's a Atreyu? Also check. If you haven't seen this movie, don't show your kids. It's
pretty disturbing stuff.
But let's listen to this voice and this synth music. Oh, I took it off again.
They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they? I always thought.
Yeah, I can imagine Ron Holland saying, like, you're going to catch these big, strong hands. Right?
I can also imagine Ron Holland just snacking on boulders, which I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, the rock giant does. They eat rocks
the limestone,
for some reason.
The limestone, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe that's part of the off-season regimen.
Get them rocks. Dirty South rocks. For my Luda heads out there, where are you at? Sorry, Ron Holland, you have a lot more time to win a lot more rewards.
He's going to get older. His voice is going to get even deeper, which is crazy to say.
Oh my God. He's going to be, his voice can only be measured on the Richter scale. That thing's so low. There's baritone and then there's Baron. Baron Holland, deepest voice on the planet. So I haven't been there yet to get this meal. This is another word that's like driving me crazy. Like Malik Beasley's first endorsement was for like the shimmy meal. It's like a three-piece meal. Of course, it's a three-piece meal at the Slider restaurant. He didn't win the best endorsement for a restaurant. That's insane. You know, he went to, this guy's barely even playing. He lost to Tristan Thompson's Cheat on Your Girl Johnson's. Like, dogs got to eat, I guess. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Get him. And I know this story is dated, and I know this graphic is wiener schnitzel licking ridiculous, but I'm sorry, those hot dogs look just as good as, I'm sure, Infidelity and all your Pornhub and Brazzers.
Cheat on your diet, cheat on your girl. Cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater.
It's the Tristan Thompson way. It's still a bummer. Bleak should have got that. It should have been his.
Yeah. He should have. Not the only young guy, or well, I guess Malik's a vet at this point, but like Ron, another one of the young guys lost out. Asar lost best hops, which is crazy because I've seen him float.
It's insane.
But he lost out to, and you got to take this L, unfortunately, Flubber.
Yeah.
Flubber makes you jump sky high. So I don't know that Flubber can make it down the court quite as fast as Asar, but that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about vertical, and he flubbed this one up. There's always, like, he hasn't had a proper off season, so you give him grace. He's gonna get better. Maybe he'll get on that Flubber level.
You know what's wild about Flubber though? Flubber looks hella out of shape. Flubber looks like mad.
But it's like the Jokic thing, you know, where like he gets it done.
Mm-hmm. He sure does. Flubber gets it. Flubber gets it done. I remember when Flubber came out. My parents were like, "We have to go see this because it got 4 stars." That was like the big reason we ever saw any movies that got 4 stars. You remember the movie Mouse Hunt with Nathan Lane? 4 stars.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Young Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, do you have any 4-star movie memories? Was there anything that made you go? Any young kid movies you're like, we have to go see this movie?
I don't know. I don't know if I remember 4-star movie reviews, but I do remember the 2 movies that came with our DVD player, and they were staples in the home. They were Chicago, the musical, and Stepmother with Julia Roberts. So, I mean, that's what was happening at the time when VHS was out and DVD that was in.
That was the DVD. The D in DVD, of course, stands for divorcee, based on those movie titles
and all that jazz.
So yeah, for those watching, a DVD was a physical disc that you watched movies on. So,
I hate this.
Sorry,
I hate this.
We old. You
old.
can't even say I hate this because I asked you a question about a movie the other day. I asked you if I could use this reference, Forget Paris with Billy Crystal, and you never even heard of the movie, bro.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never heard of the movie. Sound off in the chat if you've heard of the movie Forget Paris. Am I messing up? Is this a serious lapse in my viewership? Because there are some, but let me know if I gotta run, not walk.
We might have to wait on the chat who's seen that movie because they probably type with one finger and don't really know how to use the computer.
Hunt and peck. Yeah, classic stuff. Get the bifocals out.
Forget typewriters. I've got the CD-ROM out here.
Yeah.
The CD-ROM.
Let's get floppy with it, dude. Flop that disc.
Forget Paris. Also, I wanted, speaking of age, just because we're on this topic right now, I have to bring this up. But this is my midlife crisis talking. For those who don't, I am in my midlife at this point. I'm loving watching midlife crisis movies at this moment. It's just like my jam in a way that it's never been before. I watched The Big Year the other day. That movie sucks, but it could be good. It had potential to be good. It's like Jack Black, Steve Martin, Owen Wilson about like bird watching, and it's a good movie. I was bummed watching it, but there are a lot of messages from the movie and a lot of like animal stuff that I'm really into. So that's like cool. Badly done movie though. I hate movies that have like a narrator who's also on screen during the movie. It's like, he's already doing the thing. You don't need to be narrating the thing you're doing. We see.
What about Sandlot?
A little bit different because in Sandlot, there's a little at the beginning and it's very rare. Right.
Yeah.
And the kid's also like, he's a kid. Like I'm fine. Right. With, like we have an adult perspective.
He's looking back in reverie.
Right. Yeah. Same thing with The Christmas Story. People hate the narrator in Christmas Story. I disagree. I love the narrator in Christmas Story. I also love the books. Gene Shepard, great author. And if you like that movie or if you're over the movie, that's fine, but he's a great writer. Anyway, the midlife crisis movie I want to recommend to you and to everybody. If you haven't seen this, and this is another Billy Crystal movie, who's on a Billy Crystal kick, this guy, it's City Slickers. You have to watch City Slickers. That movie fucking rips, dude.
I will watch City Slickers. I've never seen City Slickers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am old. Because
You know what? I think there's a lot of Billy Crystal movies I haven't seen.
You've seen When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally. Yeah.
Yep. That's the most.
But that might be it.
You've seen The Princess Bride.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But
you're
that's
a basketball fan. You've seen My Giant.
Like that's true.
With Georgia Murasai.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm doing better than I thought.
I'm trying to think what other Billy Crystal movies I can think of.
I'm crystallizing.
Was he? I think Billy Crystal was in America's Sweethearts, that John Cusack, Catherine Zeta-Jones movie. You never saw that?
Nope. What happened to Catherine Zeta? I like, and I'm totally happy to like take a sharp left turn and just make this all about Catherine Zeta-Jones.
But we got Flubber on the screen. Let's talk some Catherine.
Let's fucking go back to the 90s.
I feel like maybe I caught you in some entrapment here to discuss it a little bit.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. What happened with her? What is the last movie you've seen CZJ in?
I don't know. I was trying to think of that Intolerable Cruelty.
That
maybe?
is so old.
Yeah.
It's like an old Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah. Like a flop.
It's
Coen
it's
Brothers
not great.
movie.
I watched
No,
it
it's not.
recently. It's not great.
Yeah.
And pretty good cast for being not great, but
Yeah.
also that movie might have come with your DV divorce because that's a very divorce heavy movie. Other Catherine Zeta-Jones movies, any that you dig a whole bunch of? High Fidelity.
Oh,
That's
yes.
That's the one.
Which one?
High Fidelity is the one.
High Fidelity. Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah.
Who's she in High Fidelity?
She plays the girl who he was like afraid to call because she was like so out of his league, and he's like,
That tracks.
Why'd you dump me? And she's like, Leo seemed more glamorous or whatever. I love that scene because it's there. That movie has like that story has like some problems to it. I do love the story overall. It's one of my favorite movies. Great soundtrack, great acting, incredible moments. There's a theme here. I love John Cusack. I love oh my God, why am I blank on his name? Tenacious D, Jack Black. Absolutely love Jack Black, and he's incredible in that movie. But when he's talking about how awful she is as a person, like how rude and like she doesn't listen to anybody and she has terrible ideas and never stops talking, I'm like, I know so many of these people. A lot of people think I'm that person. I get
it. Most important, and by the way, guys, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications when you want to know when we're going to be talking about Catherine Zeta-Jones. We're gonna probably go through her whole filmography, but stay with us. We're going to be doing Catherine Zeta-Jones write-ups on Substack. We're going to be skeeting about her on Blue Sky.
She was in Chicago too. You should know that.
That's true. Again, I have a lot of lapses, but the movie for me is The Phantom, starring Billy Zane.
Shit, I love that movie. I fucking love it. My name is Sander Drax. Begins and ends.
Sander Drax, dude.
That movie made me afraid.
The Microscope?
That's what I was gonna say. Oh my
Iconic.
God. I love The Phantom, and it's a bad movie, but I fucking love that movie.
Rocks.
My God. Some more Catherine Zeta-Jones heaters. I remember seeing this at a Stars movie theater, which was the most exotic movie theater I had ever been in.
The one with like the Art Deco crazy one?
Yes.
I know that theater so well, man. They had the Men in Black noisy cricket behind glass.
That's right.
I was like, wow, is that really it?
That was when movies were fucking special. That's
why
so
people
went to movies.
Yeah.
The Mask of Zorro. When that came out, I was like, why can't I be friggin' Spanish or South American? One of the two. I'll take
Get yourself a sword. You don't want to be just another white guy with a sword.
You usually get arrested for that.
Yeah.
But you usually get to walk if you do.
Either that or end up on Love on the Spectrum. There's a lot of white guys with swords.
I shout out to my white guy friends with swords. I have a lot of white guy friends with swords.
No shade on swords.
No shade.
No shade for the blade.
And then she's in Ocean's 12. She's part of the Ocean's franchise.
That's right. That's
pretty cool. And I guess they said she was in Ocean's 11. She wasn't in Ocean's 11, but she was in Ocean's 12. So yes. I will give her. I'll give her that. Man, The Phantom, dude, what a friggin' pull. Speaking of pull, we got pulled away a little bit here from what we were
by ourselves.
Yeah, by ourselves. No big deal. We haven't even finished all the awards that people didn't win yet.
Got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
The robbery continues. This is the great award heist of Detroit.
Who else we got, Mickey? Oh wait, it's on me because of the flubber one. Okay, I'm trying to think what other stuff we have. Oh, there's two more. We just missed two. Mm-hmm. This one is insane, especially after watching Isaiah Stewart play against the Knicks in the regular season. Like, Isaiah Stewart should have been a shoo-in to win thing or guy that gets most in your head. How he did not win most in your head makes no sense to me. I guess it makes a little bit of sense because what did win was the Worm, and RFK Jr. said that he won that trophy. And that Worm's going places, man. He's high up in the government. He's got a security clearance higher than I do. Yeah,
and it's rent-free too. He's just squatting up in there. I feel like he claimed they got it out, but like I don't think they got all of it. You know, I think it's still in there.
I think you listen to anything he says, there's no chance that's out of his head.
Anything he like gasps. You mean? I don't know.
Give me your best RFK Jr. Give me an RFK Jr. Detroit basketball.
Detroit basketball. It's so hard. It's so hard to listen to. You want to take a stab?
I can't do it. I can see high screen.
I like the start.
I can't do it. I can't pull it up. But yours is great. That
It's
was
like a mix between like gargling gravel and like about to throw up.
right.
It's tough.
So bad.
It's probably because he was munching on limestone like that giant from Neverending Story.
Are we right? Tell him, Ron.
And that's a callback.
Ron,
that's how we call it back.
Uh-oh.
Little preview.
Right.
Preview to the last robbery in Detroit. The team had quite the resurgence. Tripling your win total. Detroit basketball is back. Everybody knows it. But guess what else is back? Fascism in a major way. And it looks like it's here to stay, unfortunately.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Unless you're talking about the Pistons. They're here to stay. Let's not say that about fascism. I can't have this.
I think it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. But I think the Pistons are going to get better and then just continue to get better. How's that?
Yeah. The fascism situation in Washington is as bad as the basketball situation in Washington this year.
Oh, get him.
Shots fired off the back of the rim. And
no offense, Jamel.
Sorry, Jamel. You've got the Mystics. They had 3 picks in the top 6 of the WNBA draft. One of those is already out for the season with an Achilles injury, unfortunately. Heal up Amore. Yeah, I just made the mistake, but that should be fine. So let's get this asshole off the screen. Which asshole?
The DMV.
Both of them. Let's say bye-bye to both of those pieces of shit. And if you didn't know, we're not a MAGA heavy podcast. It ain't our way. I will say this, but this will be my one political statement. If you are MAGA or if you are Republican, I ask you to consider how selective your empathy and your humanity is, because it, to me, seems very difficult to feel good about that and to support that side of things. That's where I'll leave it.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. There goes all 14 of our.
What? He asked me to
no!
He asked me to be introspective without being.
Wait,
insulting?
I thought that they were about.
Are you doing the RFK voice?
Yeah, you thought I had truck nuts on my Camry? I don't. Sorry. Cat's out of the bag. Couple lefties over here. Ooh.
You have 2 left nuts? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Way to read between the lines.
Sorry, I only get 2 things. Now I understand.
You hear what you want to hear.
2 lefties. Sorry, if you didn't know by our presence on Blue Sky and not the other one, what we're into. Anyway, politics aside, presser aside, awards aside, the Pistons were in the playoffs. The playoffs are still going on. Pistons aren't part of it. Mickey, do you have any feelings on the playoffs? Like, how's it going so far? You have any dogs in the fight that aren't in the pound?
Not really. I have some friends that are Timberwolves fans, so I've been sort of passively supporting. It was very easy to root for the Timberwolves when they were playing the Lakers. I love rooting against the Lakers. Unpopular Pistons fan take. I like Tyrese Halliburton. I know he gets under our guys' skin. I know he talks hella shit, but we got guys that talk too.
Yeah.
And if you talk, you got to be able to hear talk. And they're young, they're fast. There's the Rick Carlisle connection. I think he's a really smart coach. And I really like Aaron Nesmith. I really like Nembhard.
Oh my God. What I would give for a Nembhard.
I know you're a big Nemby guy.
Yeah.
I know you're
Nemby over Wemby. That's
Nemby over Wemby. You're numb for Nemby. But
I'm hard for Nembhard. It's better.
For Rock Nembhard.
Hard for Nemby.
I get, like, here's a question. I'll ask you the same question, but I'll also ask you, if the Knicks were to get to the Eastern Conference Finals or even win the chip, would you feel better knowing that we got knocked out by the champs?
Yes. And I was going to bring this up because what I was going to say about it, I would like either the Knicks or the Pacers to win it all. That's where I stand. One, like, I don't give a shit about Boston at all. I don't give a shit about Boston for a fan base. I don't give a shit about their success in history. Like, I'm over it with Boston. With Cleveland, you won. You already won a championship. That got settled for you. I haven't seen one for Indiana. I haven't seen one for New York. On the West side of things, OKC, I kind of want to see them lose to see if they try to go after somebody big and ruin what they have going on right now to try
with
to
their
fix it.
cornucopia of draft picks.
Yep. So I would love to see that. Denver, I have a lot of buddies who are Denver fans, so I guess it's like fine if they win, but they already won recently, so whatever. My buddy Dave Huntsberger, he's a big Warriors fan, and I'm fine with seeing the Warriors win. I like seeing that legacy continue. I know that's not for you.
No.
That's not for you. That's fine for me.
No. I'm they had their time. I'm good with it.
I don't mind if it's still in the window. If their time happened and they do it as these old ass heads,
sick of it.
It's not going to happen. I don't
sick
think.
of it.
But
I've been really obsessive with basketball, not like just like, oh yeah, like I'm a Pistons fan, but like really watching a lot of games. The Warriors have been so dominant, and after Ring 4, I'm good.
I get it.
Like, I don't want it.
I understand. The pool is more diluted for me because the following has been so much longer. And I remember the Warriors weren't shit, like not weren't shit, but like when they were an upstart team. I remember even like Baron Davis and like I remember some Chris Mullin shit, like way back in the day and whatnot. Latrell Sprewell, if you want to go back in that era. So like I don't mind. Tim Hardaway Sr. I remember that shit when he was on that team.
Crossover king.
So like I really don't mind. Here's what I want to say about New York. They have good players on the team. I don't like the team. I don't. I just straight up don't, because I don't like Cat and I don't like Brunson for all the reasons we've discussed. However, I have loved every New York Knicks fan that we've met. Like Doug Burns, awesome.
Ace.
He's a friend now. Ace, like great
people.
Lions now. Like my buddy David. My Futterneck. Sorry, Dave. I was thinking of my other buddy Dave. A lot of Davids, if you can tell. But Dave Futterneck, he has a podcast as well, basketball. We were trying to get him on the show, it just didn't work out. But he's a former basketball teammate of mine. We have great chemistry, and like he's a great fan. The fans I know of the New York Knicks are gracious and they're nice, and I want it for them because that's really what this is about. Like, yeah, it's for the players, but there's so much more fan energy in it. And I remember when the Pistons won, what that felt like for me. And for a fan base that I don't think knows what that feels like, because New York Knicks fans are not Lakers fans, people who move there and like, we're fans of the team now, or just like, I know this team. These are people who were born and raised in New York, right? These are true New York people. So if they win it, I'm so happy for the fans. Fuck Brunson, but I'm so happy for the fans. And again, I'll admit Brunson's a great player. There's no doubt about it. I just wish
you don't have to like him.
Exactly. With Halliburton, there's not a part of his game I don't like. Like he's a fucking good player. It's just like straight up. And
I love like really skilled point guards.
Yeah. Who don't turn the ball over.
When he's been so clutch too.
And he's funny. He's fucking funny.
He's really funny.
And like I like Megan. Megan's great. Like
Megan rocks.
So would it be nice for the Pacers to win? Yes. Like sure. Like that's fine. I get it that they're in our conference. I get that they're
have the Pacers ever won?
I don't think so. I could look it up. Let me take a look right now.
While you do that, I just want to say that
zero.
New York fans and Pistons fans, I do think have a lot of connective tissue in terms of like long winning droughts and like 90s dominance in a gritty way. Like learned that from talking to people, and that's kinship.
Knicks ain't won a championship in over 50 years. Like
it's a long time.
That's a long time.
We can wipe that clean. that may as well be.
Like I don't want that for any fan base except for Boston. I wouldn't mind if it was Boston
or the Lakers.
Or the Lakers. Well, whatever. I guess they don't even care. Like, that's. I don't dislike Lakers fans like I dislike Boston fans. Sorry, Boston fans. There are two of you I like. One of them CJ's brother. One of them is my buddy Sam Brown. Whitest Kids You Know. Shout out to Sam. Shout out Whitest Kids You Know. But like,
CJ's brother's a Celtics fan.
Yeah. Mark.
That's so funny.
It's so ridiculous. Also former guy on my basketball team. So that's where I stand. I would love for those two teams to win it. I'd be fine if Golden State won it because I think that'd be so funny just seeing like these old ass dudes win it. I don't want Minnesota to win because I don't like Ant. Sorry, I don't.
Fair enough. I like enough other guys on that team, and I do think he's funny, and I do think he's aggressively himself, and
A little bit to himself.
Case to be made.
Yeah.
But I love Nas. I'm obsessed with J-Mac. I think he's so good. And I kind of am here for this Julius Randle redemption arc.
Yeah, for sure. I'm for that. You're also a big Rudy Gobert fan, right? You just like him as a person.
Yeah, everybody knows that about me. I love what he did during COVID. I love like all the flagrant fouls and stuff. But you know what though? He was huge. He was huge in that closeout game against the Lakers. And I'm kind of surprised you haven't like really seen those huge performances against the Warriors because they're kind of also bigless.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it's all playing out. But like, I'm pulling for the East. I'm not going to be like super upset if anybody wins outside of Boston. I don't want Boston to win. One, I don't like Boston. Two, I don't like for back-to-back championships. I just think that's lame. But yeah, that's just me. So that's right. The other thing, if New York wins it all, would I feel better? Yeah, because as I stated before, Detroit wasn't as healthy, and they still were the better team in the series. Things just didn't fall that way. What does that say about how close to being a contending team Detroit is?
I think it says a lot. I think we're right there, and I think like if we made no moves tomorrow, like or no moves for the rest of the regular season, if we just like ran it back straight up, I think this team wins that series. The following, like if they're the 3 and the 6 seed again, which by the way I don't think would happen, but I think they win that series, and so. Lots to look forward to, and we're gonna be getting into more off-season stuff. We're gonna talk draft. We're gonna do more retrospective stuff. So stay with us.
Please
like, subscribe. We've still got time. Still got time to get as many subscribers before the end of the postseason as Malik Beasley had threes during the regular season, which was what 319.
319. So
yeah,
if we get to 100. I'll be happy. I can check it off my bingo gold card for the year. I'd be so thrilled. Do it for us.
Let him check it off. Share us with a friend.
Do it for Catherine Zeta-Jones. Share us with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes. Let's get Catherine Zeta on the pod. But for real, we know you're Pistons junkies. We're Pistons junkies. We're going to be talking about stuff. We're going to be playing games. Might do another round of Armchair GM.
Ooh.
Some fun stuff brewing. So stay with us.
Tell us what guests you want to have on. We're open to bringing on other guests. I hope you saw Zach's special because I was at the pre-recording of it. Zach from our guest last week, Martina, fucking crushed. It was awesome. So if you didn't get to see it when it comes out, you got to check it out. It was an incredible show, and
it's hilarious.
I'm a bit skeptical about stand-up often, even though I am a former stand-up comedian. That's probably why I'm so skeptical.
Probably why.
Yeah, it's
close to home.
It's hard. And you know, as we always do, we leave all the fans saying "Order the Blazing Horse," the acronym, aloud because that's how Horse would say it. So
praise Horse.
With praise Horse. Without further ado, we must simply say to you.